Samuel.
And I'm TJ.
And welcome to
Uncodified, the channel that is not about conspiracy theories, but very much about what we have termed constitutionalism, a mesh of history, politics, and law. This series particularly focuses on the Constitution of Britain. What makes the British Constitution particularly interesting is that it's the only uncodified constitution in Europe, meaning there is no singular document that contains or explains the utter confusion many people, including myself, have about the systems of our government and how it works.
Okay, so when I started my masters, I had never studied law before, and I found that there was really not very much in terms of comprehensive resources on law, British government or constitutional history online, especially regarding the courts.
So you had the idea of creating the ultimate resource in knowledge and power over the world?
Yes, I felt very much like Emperor Palpatine. Look, it's not the Earth, man. It's just, that's Series 2. We're going to do international politics another time. Look, we're doing just Britain and Northern Ireland. Look, we both believe that there's not enough education about how government works and that it is something we want to change. We also agree that knowledge is power, especially in a democracy. It is extremely important that as voters we know how the system is meant to function.
So, the point of this series is to provide that educational resource that my friend Sam didn't have. And for you as well, the viewer, whether you're a student or a casual viewer interested in learning a bit more about the world.
Look, just to be honest with you guys, neither of us have studied this particular subject in a great bit of depth, so we'll be learning alongside you.
And especially myself, as I have not actually studied law, which means I'll be every step of the way with you, the viewer. The idea of this channel to take a very complicated and overwhelming subject that is the UK constitutional law and history and make it make sense to us, which will make it make sense to you too, I hope.
So as we are dealing with the government of this country, things will get political. However, we are trying to seek to provide education, and while we won't actively hide our political views, we will try our hardest to provide the facts as politically neutral as possible.
Which is harder and harder to achieve these days.
Look, for the most part, we are not going to be discussing current political affairs, as the purpose of the show is to explain our systems of power and how they are designed to function, which is not accurately reflected at all in the Truss and Johnson administrations. They completely ad-libbed their entire time in office. So, over the coming 6 months, and at the current rate 3 Prime Ministers, we will explore how our constitution is meant to function and explore the role that is played by politicians, monarchs, judges and lawyers.
In the first few episodes, we will explore the roots of the English system of government, the creation of the courts and parliament. We will take you on a journey of how these institutions have evolved over time and how they've gotten to the current form that we recognise today. In later episodes, we will cover the separate branches of government and how they function, and the emergence of new institutions such as the devolved administrations, such as the Welsh Assembly and Scottish Parliaments, and so on. And we will also touch on the Supreme Court.
So, as well as talking about the functions of government, we're going to take a bit more of a philosophical look and look at all the legal people, such as Coke, Blackstone and Locke, and the role that they had in shaping our society, and the key principles of our constitutional order, such as the separation of powers, the rule of law, and the sovereignty of Parliament. So, join in the merry adventure like hobbits going to Mordor, where we will discover the systems of power that define the government, how the government works, constitutional law, and perhaps what changes might be made. Please join us on this merry adventure. Goodbye, folks.
And see you next episode.